Good morning, everyone. My name is Fazlin Fauzi, and I will be the moderator for this session. In this session, we will get some insight on the experience of vaccine rollout from our neighbors. We will have two speakers who will present, and at the end, there will be a forum to discuss about issues pertaining to vaccines. So please use the chat box to ask your questions, and I'll do my best to present them to the speakers. So with that out of the way, it is my pleasure to introduce the first speaker, Assistant Professor Dr. Supatat Chumnumwat from Mahidol University, Thailand. Assistant Professor Dr. Supatat obtained his B.Pharm from Mahidol University and PharmD from University of Illinois, Chicago. He is also a board-certified pharmacotherapy specialist from the USA. His area of research include pharmacy practice in internal medicine, translational pharmacogenomics, and pharmacy education. So without further ado, I would like to invite Assistant Professor Dr. Supatat to give his talk on the current status of COVID-19 vaccination in Thailand.
Thank you, Dr. Fazlin, for a kind introduction. Good morning, everybody. My name is Supatat again. I'm very glad to have a chance to share the information about vaccination situation in Thailand. I think I'm gonna use about 20 minutes to talk regarding the status of the vaccination in Thailand. Start with I would like to introduce about Thailand a little bit in terms of the size of our population. We have currently 66 million people in Thailand and accounts for 0.9% of the world population. Our median age of the population is about 40 years, and our life expectancy on average is 77 years, which female has longer life expectancy, about 80 years, but male is about 74 years. In Thailand, we currently have 77 provinces, which Bangkok is the city that is the crowded city in the country, and followed by Samut Prakan, Nonthaburi, Udon Thani, Chonburi, and Nakhon Ratchasima and Chiang Mai. You might have heard this name before, especially when you visit Thailand. And in terms of COVID-19, the first case arrived Thailand last year in January, and then after that we had some cases occur in February and March, but after March 18, there was a jump or a hit of outbreak in Bangkok and all over the country. And that's the first hit in Thailand. And then the number of cases were stable until the end of last year. And then it started to jump again. That was the biggest outbreak in Thailand because of the spread among the migrant worker in Samut Sakhon, which is the fresh market or shrimp market in Thailand. The number of the cases increased to about 28,000 in Thailand. If you look at the graph here, there are actually two outbreak period in Thailand. And according to the number of deaths, you see that there were about 3 or 4 deaths per day during the period of the outbreak. And then for the second outbreak, then the death rate each day was decreased a little bit to 1 or 2 persons per day. And overall, there were 94 deaths from January last year, which is about 0.3% death rate in Thailand, which is lower than the number of worldwide. I think the number of death, the percent of death worldwide is about 2%. In terms of the strain of the virus in Thailand, this is the list of the virus strain that we found during the first outbreak in March 2020. There are LS, GH, PR, V, and T, and O. Those are the strain that we found during the first outbreak. And then the T type was the most prevalent strain that we found during that time period. And for the second period, we found different strains, including the B117, which is originally from United Kingdom, and also the South Africa, and also the B13616 from Myanmar. The one highlight in red, they're currently found in Thailand, but the B117 and B1351. They are currently in the state quarantine, so but we don't have any data reported. We found this strain in community. The only strain that we found is the B13616 that is currently spreading in Thailand. But for the rest of the strain, we don't have any information yet. So if we put the strain in the outbreak, we'll see that the most prevalent right now is B13616 strain. And then during the time, during the period, there were quite a few measures that the government used to control the COVID-19 situation in Thailand, including Communicable Disease Act, or quarantine for tourists, and cancellation of New Year holiday or other holidays as well. Also closure of stores, school, university, sport and entertainment venue, or the land border, also night curfew and suspension of international flights. And there also the prohibition about the interprovincial travel as well. But right now, majority of the measures, I think they were all almost canceled. And we start thinking about open the country again, and then that was from the report from the government yesterday that I watched. Along the line with the situation about the outbreak, the Ministry of Public Health in Thailand, with the Department of Disease Control, or DDC, which is equivalent to CDC in America, we also developed the clinical practice guideline for treatment of COVID-19. That has changed a lot. Right now, we currently recommend favipiravir for treating the patient with COVID-19, hydroxychloroquine, chloroquine, or azithromycin. They're all out of the guideline right now. That's for the treatment. In terms of the prevention measure, we already talked about COVID-19 vaccine. Dr. Jaslina and Dr. Badarul Hisam gave a wonderful detail about the vaccine and the manufacturing process and clinical data. So I just want to share about the information about vaccine a little bit. There are actually 4 major types of vaccine, and the one that we have in Thailand right now are highlighted in red, which is Oxford, AstraZeneca, and Sinovac. Right now, I think we don't have live attenuated COVID-19 vaccine yet. Among the leading vaccine in the world, there are actually 7 vaccines approved for use in several countries, and the one in the green box, they're approved in Thailand, which is Oxford, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, and Sinovac. If you look at the timeline for the vaccine available, you see a lot of number of vaccine that are currently in the clinical trial, even phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and there are 7 vaccine approved right now, and there are 4 vaccine abandoned after trials. So you see more vaccine are coming for us to be able to access to the vaccination. Come back to Thailand. As I mentioned before, that there are actually three vaccine approved by the Thai FDA. One is Oxford AstraZeneca, Sinovac, and Johnson & Johnson. The type of the approval is called conditional approval for emergency use authorization, meaning that it's an approval that is approved to use in the country, but close monitoring measures should be implemented and the data should be reported to the Thai FDA. And that's the status of the approval of the current available vaccine. And in terms of the distribution of the vaccine, so we currently have 2 vaccines right now, and the Ministry of Public Health also issued a strategic plan to distribute and to provide the vaccine among the general public and also everybody in Thailand, including health personnel. And the 5 plans include the communication and education of the general public to make sure that everybody are on the same page, and also provide effective vaccination service to the target group, and also assure the quality of the vaccine and also monitor for the adverse event following immunization or AEFI, and also develop the information system to support the vaccine management, along with the knowledge management to improve vaccination service as well. So these are the strategic plans of the public health, the Ministry of Public Health in Thailand right now. For me, I would like to focus on the second plan, which is providing the effective vaccination service to the target group. Before we get the vaccine, there are actually the procurement plan based on the information from the Ministry of Public Health. There are actually 3 phases. The first phase started in February this year. We plan to get about 2 million doses from Sinovac and also about 100,000 from AstraZeneca. And then in February, which we already passed that day, we plan to get 200,000 doses. And then we already start giving the vaccine to the target group already. And right now, in March, we just got the 800,000 doses. And then the plan right now is going to give, they just got the batch release from the Ministry of Science, Ministry of Medical Science, and to give the second batch to the target group today. So that's from the report of the Ministry of Public Health this morning. And then in April, we're going to get another 1 million doses from Sinovac as well. And for phase 2, we're going to get 26 million doses in June to August. And then in September, we're going to get about 10 million doses and 5 million doses. 10 million doses per month, and then 5 million doses in December. So that's the procurement plan in Thailand right now. So right now, I think we have about 1 million doses to give to the target group in Thailand. And then in terms of the distribution plan, even though the procurement plan, we have 3 phases, but for distribution plan, we actually have 2 phases. The phase 1 started from March to April or May. It's the phase where limited vaccine are available. So we target to give the vaccine to the frontliners, medical public health personnel, and also the patient with chronic diseases, including asthma, COPD, cardiovascular disease, end-stage renal disease, and stroke, cancer, diabetes, and obese patients. So these are the group of the patient with high risk of death if they got infection. So they are the first priority to get the vaccine. And also older person as well, of age over 60 years, and also authorities involved in the disease control and screening for disease. These are the first batch of the group that they will get the vaccine first. And then when we get more vaccine, it's going to be the phase 2 of distribution. We're going to provide vaccine for medical and public health personnel as well. They are not on the front line, which is me and my colleague as well. And also people in tourism sector and traveler, and also the general public for the rest of the number of the people in Thailand. So this is the overall plan for distribution. And in terms of the first phase, right now we already distribute the vaccine to 13 provinces based on the number of COVID-19 cases, including Samut Sakhon, which is the province that just got hit of infection, and then also Bangkok, Pathum Thani, and Nonthaburi. And we also distribute the vaccine to the area with economic and social development as well, including Chonburi, Phuket, and Surat Thani and Chiang Mai. So these are the 13 provinces that already got the vaccine. And when the vaccine arrived, each hospital, there are actually 3 phases that we prepare for the administration process. The preparation phase, including the obtainment of the target group, name and identification number, so that we can register them to the central database for the vaccine reservation. And then after that, the hospital will contact all of their target group to register and make an appointment for administration of the vaccine via the web application from mobile phone or the hospital system. So after they got registered, and then on the day of appointment, they will come to the hospital based on the time and date that they got from the app or from the hospital. And then when they come to the hospital, there was a check-in process and identity verification process before they got vaccine, also screening as well. And after they got the first dose, there was a follow-up process before the second dose was administered. And then there's another follow-up period as well after they got the second dose. And to give a little bit more detail about the step that we provide vaccine for everybody at the hospital, we start screening for fever, any sickness before people come to the hospital, and then they got registered, and we do weight and height measurement, also interview and risk assessment to see whether they are eligible for vaccination on that day or not, and also obtain the consent form for vaccination. And then after the screening, and the patient has to wait and then get the vaccine. And then after they got vaccine, they need to be observed for at least 30 minutes in the hospital to see if there's any adverse event or a EFI occur within the hospital. If there's nothing happen, the patient can check out and then got the vaccine and also the appointment for the second dose as well. And also there was an ADR report after they got back home. And then I think the process is gonna be via mobile application, or the people from hospital to make a phone call to follow up with the people on day 1, 7, and 30 after they got vaccination. Here's the overall AFI monitoring. So if you see that after they got vaccine, they need to be observed for 30 minutes within the hospital, right? And then after that, if there's any AFI occur, the hospital will admit if needed for severe infection, and then submit the report to the DDC via the web application as well. And if it's not severe, they're gonna observe and then maybe send the patient home for observation as well. And if there is no AFI occur within the 30-minute observation period, they will send the patient home as well, and then ask the patient to use mobile application to report any adverse reaction on day 1, 7, and 30 after they got vaccine. And then also those without any mobile phone, any assigned health personnel or village health volunteer, they are going to make a phone call or visit the house and then ask for any reaction on day 1, 7, and 30 as well. So the information about reaction will be sent to the main server of the DDC as well, so that we can have the overall information about adverse effect after immunization. And here's the sample of the website that we that health personnel can access, so they can register, and then they can submit the detail about the adverse reaction as well. And here's the mobile application to show. In Thailand, I think we use Line application a lot, so that the patient or the people with mobile phone can add their Line account from the Ministry of Public Health. We call Mohd, which is the MOPH Connect, so that they can make an appointment, they can get a reminder for the vaccine, either the first dose or second dose. And here's the number of the vaccine provided to the target group. This is the data from March 16. It was about 58% of the target group received the vaccine. And then about a week or two, it reached about almost 100% of the patient who got the first dose, and then about 10% already got the second dose already. So that's the status of the vaccination in Thailand right now. And in terms of safety data, we don't have any official number yet, but based on the report from the Center for COVID-19 Situation Administration on March 27, they said that most of the reaction were mild, including fever, headache, malaise, injection site pain, which is similar to the one reported in the research as well. And there were only 2 cases reported for severe reaction, which include rash and hypotension, but they are now currently recovered. And this is the picture of the appointment card for the first and second dose. So this is the document that we give to the people, and then we make a record, and then we ask them to come back to get the second dose of the vaccine. And after they get the second dose of vaccine, we also issue the certificate of COVID-19 vaccine as well, so that they can keep that, and then they can show in case of they need to clarify or declare something. Especially, I think we have a plan for called vaccine passport, I think, but I'm not sure if it's gonna happen very soon. But we are talking about that and plan on making a system for vaccine passport as well. And along with the vaccination, there's another plan that I already mentioned about communication and education to the general public. So we also do that. We get promotional shot by the Prime Minister of Thailand, and we also have so we use all of the social media to educate general public and also health personnel as well. The Ministry of Public Health also issue a manual or guideline for health personnel to manage the vaccine, especially for pharmacists, in order to keep the vaccine and store the vaccine in the refrigerator. And also fake news as well. There are quite a few fake news in the social media. So the Ministry of Public Health has to deal with that problem as well. And also the vaccine. In Thailand right now, we are in the process of making the vaccine Thai vaccine as well. There are quite a few organizations, including university or the national institution as well. We are trying to make vaccine, and also I think for right now, there are two vaccines that enter the clinical trial, especially in phase 1 and 2. And also another side of the collaboration is to get the technology transfer from AstraZeneca as well, to have a manufacturing plant in Thailand. So that's another collaboration that we're trying to make, and then ensure that we have enough vaccine for people in Thailand. And that's the information about the vaccination status of COVID vaccine in Thailand. So that's all about the information that I would like to present at this point. And I'll be happy to answer and share any information that I have at the end of this discussion section.
Thank you so much, Assistant Professor Dr. Supatat, for a very, very informative talk. We'll save all of the questions towards the end during the forum, so please stay with us, Dr. Supatat. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next talk. And it is my pleasure to introduce our second speaker, Dr. Catur Riani from Institute Teknologi Bandung, Indonesia. Dr. Riani obtained her B.Pharm and Masters from ITB and doctorate from Rostock University, Germany. She is currently the head of Pharmacy Biotechnology Lab at ITB and the head of the Bandung branch of the Indonesian Society of Microbiology. So without any further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Catur to give her talk on the development of COVID-19 vaccine and preliminary clinical trial results in Indonesia.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to join this seminar. I would like to share my PowerPoint. I hope it can be seen clearly. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I will start to deliver my talk. Actually, this is only a little sharing from me. I'm a representative from Institute Teknologi Bandung, School of Pharmacy. I'm very happy to join this seminar today. So I would like to share with you the development of COVID-19 vaccine in our institute, and also some preliminary clinical trial result from Indonesia that I heard from speaker before. He also already delivered some of my data, I think. Okay, I will start with my talk. So the COVID-19 vaccination in Indonesia, I think Indonesia have a very, very big population, yeah, compared to Asian country here. So to have herd immunity from 271 million people, so we need to have this 181 million vaccination. So it's a big challenge, I think, for Indonesia. And current situation for vaccination in Indonesia, we can monitor every day in this link. I have the link here, share with you. I'm updating the data from from yesterday, 31st March. So currently in Indonesia, we already have vaccination around 8 million person. Yeah. So this is for the first vaccination, and then the second vaccination. So it's already finished. 3.7 million people. So how to make a realization to get all these 181 million people to be vaccinated. So for this, Indonesian government have a plan to share the phase of the vaccination become 4 phases. So right now we are in the 1 and 2 phases. It's already start from January, and it will be always running. And first phase, we already make a vaccination to the frontline health worker. And right now, we already come to the second phase. We have vaccinated the public service staff and also elderly. So for your information, in lecturer in ITB all have been vaccinated for the first vaccination, and it will be we have the second vaccination, I think 2 or 3 weeks more. Yeah, for me, because I pharmacist, I already have vaccinated since February. So this is very happy for us in ITB, because all the staff is already vaccinated until now. And for the third and the fourth phase, it will be step by step, depend on the vaccine supply, because as Dr. Supatat also mentioned before, and also Dr. Badrul mentioned, the vaccine supply worldwide is very, very limited. So that's why we must have a strategy to make this vaccination happen. Yeah. And this phase, actually, Indonesian government have a consultation with the committee, Indonesian Technology Advisory Group on Immunization, or in Indonesia we call it ITAGI, Komite Penasehat Ahli Imunisasi Nasional, and based on the guideline from WHO. And to make that vaccination in Indonesia, government already determine the vaccine type that can be available in Indonesia. For the first step, they make authorization to 6 types of vaccine. And later they added 1 more from Novavax. But right now we already have 1 until 3. Actually, the first from the biopharma from Indonesia, a vaccine company. Actually, it's bulk from Sinovac, but they make the filling in Indonesia in biopharma in Bandung. So for the second phase now, mostly we have a bulk vaccine from Sinovac that filled in biopharma. So for the first step, the vaccine that we have, it's from Sinovac. It's in a single ampoule, but now we have for 10 doses in 1 vial. Yeah, that manufactured in biopharma. So in a vaccination program in Indonesia, we have 2 schemes. It's from government, and then the other one is from private, or we call in Indonesia gotong royong. So it's not individual, but it's a private sector. Yeah. So it must be keep in mind, not individual person can get the vaccine by themselves, but it should be organized by the company, or it organized by government. Yeah. So our government already make a decision that the vaccine for a government program cannot be the same with the private one. So here, the one that for government program is including Sinovac, Biopharma, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and then also Novavax. And for the private program, it belong to Moderna and also Sinopharm. here about the clinical trial result in Indonesia, as mentioned with the speaker before. Actually, the real clinical trial that lead in Indonesia is from Sinovac. Yeah. On August 2020, last year, in Bandung, we make the clinical trial phase 3. They choose in Bandung because in Bandung is nearby PT Bio Farma, and also we have a hospital, government hospital, Hasan Sadikin Hospital, and the participant is 1,620 participants. So compared to Indonesian population, maybe it's not representative, but actually the evaluation not only based on Indonesian clinical trial. So the National Committee on Drug Evaluation or the Komisi Nasional Penilai Obat also make evaluation from the clinical trial from other country also. So from Indonesian result, we have 65.3% efficacy, but this result is still be monitored until April or May 2021. So for this, one of our staff member, Professor Elin Yulina Sukandar, is the member of the committee, the national committee. So from this result, we have emergency use authorization for a Sinovac. That clinical trial is happen to people with the age above 80 until 59. So for elderly, right now we also have the vaccination, but the clinical trial result is based on clinical trial in China and Brazil. Because of the good result from the clinical trial in China and Brazil, so Indonesia make a decision to give emergency use authorization also for elderly use since 5 February 2020. A bit different with the former Sinovac for normal age. For the elderly, the dose is separated in 28 days. Yeah. So for the vaccination monitoring, we have also a program from the government. This is a website for the general adverse effect of the drug, all drug. We have AMESOPOMGO ID, but actually for the AEFI, or in Indonesia we call it KIPI, so kejadian ikutan pasca imunisasi. So we have this another website that special for the vaccine safety, yeah, for the adverse event following immunization. Another challenge in vaccination in Indonesia, I think, as I mentioned before, because we have very large population, and people in Indonesia with a different education level and also different how to say geographic, yeah. So the first challenge and the difficult one that we have facing here in Indonesia is hoax or public perception. Yeah, we have still many people that not accepting the vaccination. So I think this is also our role as a pharmacist to give better education to our people, so about the benefit of the vaccination. Another challenge for the vaccination in Indonesia also halal, because most Indonesian citizen is Muslim. So, but for this issue, we already have for Sinovac, for example, MUI or in Indonesian Ulama Committee already give halal certification. And then the last issue, maybe you ever heard about AstraZeneca vaccine. They also already make a clearance about the halal. For the AstraZeneca, problem is about the trypsin, but actually the trypsin that they use is not from porcine, but is from animal free or the mushroom. Yeah. Another challenge, because nearly now we will face a Ramadan month. Yeah. So some people also still, how to say, not certain yet whether they can get a vaccination in Ramadan or not, but actually this also already, how to say, MUI already make a declaration or fatwa for during Ramadan. It's not problem to do vaccination because the injection is intramuscular. Yeah. Another problem also is it's not how to say, it's not easy also, because many people also have a phobia with injection. Even the health care worker, yeah, maybe you ever read in a medsos that some of the health worker also have a phobia with injection. So this is once again our task or our contribution to make how to say like an education or make them feel safe to have a vaccination. Another problem about the elderly or comorbid person. So some of the vaccination program sometimes should be rescheduled with some people because they have how to say, not a good condition, like high hypertension. For example, my mother last time she must postpone 1 week because suddenly when she got vaccinated, the blood pressure become high. And normally it's normal for her. So, but at the time of vaccination, it's become high. So it should be postponed 1 week after. Another problem also that we may be faces is about the geographic in Indonesia, because we have 34 province that distribute very wide from east to the west, so it's very challenging also. And then also regarding vaccine supply, that's why I think another how to say, a strategy, we also develop a vaccine in Indonesia. Yeah. And another issue is about the mutation. Yeah. Mutation because we don't know how fast the mutation, and then whether the mutation that happened can affect the vaccination. But so far, with the vaccine that available now, it's still not affect with the mutation that have mutation that appear today. Yeah. So how to speed up the vaccination in Indonesia, or how the strategy of Indonesian government to speed up the vaccination? First, to cope with the hoax or to educate the people, Indonesian government have a formal website with the COVID-19 Go ID. many information is available here, and also to reach other person that because nowadays people really familiar with SOSMED, so government also make a campaign in a SOSMED, yeah, for example using the Instagram. So another strategy also, we do vaccination on the spot. So here you can see vaccination already make in shopping center, yeah. So many trader here join the vaccination, so they don't have to go far from their place for work. So it's easier for them to come to be vaccinated. And recently for the elderly, government also have a campaign. So if young people take their parent or their grandparent to the vaccination, so this young person can be vaccinated. So two elderly that come with one young person, so the young person can be vaccinated the same with the elderly. Yeah, this is a strategy to speed up the vaccination in Indonesia. So for the after the vaccination, we will have a certification. The certificate will deliver directly to your mobile phone, or you can also check by yourself in the website Peduli Lindungi. So you just put the national identity number here, and then it can be release the certificate. Yeah. And I come to the vaccine development in Indonesia. We call it vaksin merah putih, so like our national flag. Yeah. So it collaboration between research institute, industry, and also academia. So I think right now the academia also more academia also participated with this program. Yeah. So 8 months, I think you know, because this institute is how to say very leading in genome sequencing, and then also LIPI. LIPI is Indonesia scientific institution, and then biopharma, the vaccine industry that located in Bandung. Biotis also, but normally Biotis is more to the how to say vaccine for veterinary and also for agriculture, and then also Temposcan is there are drug industry in Indonesia. Here we are also contributed here, ITB, together with Universitas Erlangga, Universitas Indonesia, and also Universitas Gadjah Mada. The vaccine type that developed for vaksin merah putih is including the recombinant subunit protein, adenovirus vector, adeno-associated virus, DNA virus, mRNA virus, and also VLP, virus-like particle. The two type of the vaccine, I make a tick here because this is what ITB contributed with. Yeah, we contributed with the recombinant subunit protein and then also adenovirus vector. For the recombinant subunit protein, we develop using bacteria and also the yeast host that already familiar. We are already familiar with technology. The newest one that we developed here is the adenovirus vector. So I will talk about a lot more about the adenovirus. This is Dr. Anita, that our staff member that head for this research program. So the gene design, subcloning, and then also the recombinant genome construction is already finished. Now it's ongoing in production of recombinant virus. So the last we will still on progress. Yeah. So this is very long journey for us. Yeah, but we really want to be contributed with this pandemic to treat this pandemic. Yeah. So this program is funded by Yayasan Solidarity Forever. So I think you already common with the adenovirus-based vaccine. Actually, the adenovirus is only the vehicle, virus as a vehicle to deliver the spike gene of the coronavirus. So actually, we use a spike of the coronavirus for the vaccination. Yeah, but it's not. I said to you, it's not easy work. It's a very, very long journey. It will be very challenging. Yeah, I think to become commercialization, the upscaling process also become challenging because we need the GMP level or grade. Yeah. So, but it's good for us because we are nearby PT Bio Farma that located also in Bandung. So I think with a collaboration with industry, this challenge can be a cope later on. So for me, that's all my sharing. I think we can talk more in discussion. Don't forget, pharmacists can contribute more, and I think we already have vaccinated, we still have to remember about this. Yeah, in Indonesia we call it 5M. So we use masker and then also the clean our hand. Please keep our distance and don't do any mobility if not necessary, and then don't gather if not necessary. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Catur. I'm very encouraged to see that the faculty members of ITB has already been vaccinated. I saw my old friend, Prof. Daryono, got vaccinated and he posted it on Facebook. That's very encouraging. Thank you so much. So now I would like to invite Assistant Professor Dr. Supatat back and we'll begin the forum.
Yep.
Right. So I'll start with what I think the issue with vaccine is not so much the science, but the misinformation and misconception. So my first question to both of you is, if you were to identify the biggest misconception about vaccine in your country, what would that be? So I'll start with Dr. Catur.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So as I said before, it's depend on the, how to say, actually this depend also education of the people and also maybe how to say the ideology of the people. Yeah. So in Indonesia, we are not, how to say, we still have some people that not agree with vaccination. So maybe with the education that it's not only with a formal event, something like this, because I think with even like this, that people cannot be reached. Yeah. So maybe we can share the information through with the television or a radio program, yeah, or in a social media like a video. I think here people more familiar, yeah, with SOSMED. So short film or short video can be shared in the social media. To find what topic actually they are talking about or there are misconception. So that's I think this is our task to be more close to the people. Yeah, so that's why maybe if you active in a SOSMED, it's not a negative point. Yeah, because if you active in a SOSMED, you will know what idea happen in our public. Yeah, so from that we can create a campaign that suitable or targeted to this misconception. So I think it can be delivered also from my side as an academia. I can make a task to assignment to my student, you know, to them to find out, because they are so familiar with SOSMED. Yeah, they are very active in SOSMED, so they can try to find out what the problem actually or people face in or people talking in a SOSMED. Yeah, so that's one contribution that we as academia can contribute to the make education. And then also for the student, sometimes we make assignment, you know, to for them to make a short video for education. Yeah, I think they make a more creative here to share the information. Of course, before it release, we as a lecturer must how to say, see the content first. Yeah, before they deliver to public. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Supatat. What's your take?
Yeah, so I think in Thailand we face similar problem as Indonesia as well. I think there's a lot of misconception and also an issue about perception of vaccination as well. Yeah, what our government did is to educate, similar to Indonesia. So we made like a short video clip and made it funny so that people can get a concept, a right concept as well, especially the issue about efficacy and safety as well, like anaphylaxis, adverse reaction. Those are the things that people were concerned the most. And that's what our government did as well. And another thing that I found recently, and our government try to change as well, is that the majority of the people who got vaccinated, they thought that they don't have to wear masks anymore. They don't have to do like social distancing or wash their hands, so they're free to go everywhere. So that's about the misconception that we found recently. And then our government or Ministry of Public Health try to create like a social media to educate our general public as well in Thailand. That's another problem. And I think also CDC as well that they did.
Do you have a specific committee under the Ministry of Public Health that handles this misconception or misinformation in Thailand?
In Thailand, we actually have two major organization or agency. One is called CCSA, which is the COVID-19. What's that called? I forgot. COVID-19 situation administration, and also the Ministry of Public Health as well. So these two organizations, they do a daily report on the statistic of number of cases and adverse event and everything that related to COVID-19 and also vaccination. And at the end of the report, they also put the video clip and also educate the patient and everybody about misconception as well. So they do that on a daily basis to make sure that it can they can get right information. And also hospital university, I think they're the organization that has a high impact on patients' perception as well. They accept the information from hospital very well. So they use all social media to educate the patient as well.
Right, that's very encouraging. So my next question is something that I just encountered last night while doing my reading. This question is basically a flip question. So someone was asking if someone got the vaccine and they didn't have any side effect, only sore arm, and compared to another person who got headache, lethargy, all that, does that mean that that person is not responding as the person who got the side effect? What's your take on that?
Um, I think it's to answer this question. We need to talk about side effects and adverse reaction, and provide the information to our people as well to see. Having side effect doesn't mean that you have more immune or you respond more, and
Yep.
having no side effect doesn't mean that you didn't respond to the vaccine.
Yeah.
We probably need to educate the population, our patient, and our population about what to expect after the vaccination, and also the efficacy and safety of the vaccine that's available in our country, so that we are all on the same page.
Right. Dr. Chatur, if you, anything that you want to add?
Yeah, I think yeah, it's not depend on the reaction, yeah, because it's also individual. The best thing is we count or we count the antibody titer, yeah. So, but it's very expensive. So I think it's not the how to say parameter for vaccine efficacy with the adverse effect, yeah. So for example, for me, I have not any adverse effect, so it's like a normal.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Dr. Chatur, I have one question from the viewers, participant. Why does Indonesia not allow private sector to be involved in the vaccine production and distribution?
For the production, I think it's not because of not allowed, yeah, but it's their capability, yeah. So because I think as Dr. Badru already present in this morning, for vaccine production, it's need how to say qualified manufacturing, yeah. So it's not it will be not the same like how to say manufacturing a synthetic drug, yeah, because vaccine is a biological drug. But actually there is a different stage, yeah, also in a manufacturing the vaccine. For example, right now biopharma, even in Indonesia, biopharma vaccine company still in a filling stage only, yeah. They are not making the active pharmaceutical ingredient or the virus itself. They just have the bulk from Sinovac, and they make a filling here in PT Bio Farma. But actually, as I mentioned before, it's not maybe the problem not be the private sector not allowed, but if they want to join, because it's a big infestation, yeah, to have a manufacturing of vaccine, because we must comply with international requirement, yeah. So I think this is not an easy how to say easy thing to make to comply with all the standard, yeah. But actually it's open as long as they can how to say can comply with the standard. But right now the vaccine program is how to say, organized by government, because we don't want to have any chaos, yeah, because you know the vaccine supply is very limited worldwide, so it should be organized very nicely. That's my answer.
How about the frontliners from the private sector? Are they included in the phase 1 vaccination as well?
Yeah, if you said that all health worker is not only government one, but also the private, from the private hospital, for example, they are also including in the first phase. They are done. And then now, right now, it's phase 2, academia, a teacher, you know, all teacher, and also the trader, you know, as I show you in a picture, and also like public service, like in a bank, yeah, financial. So because they are dealing every day with many people, yeah. So it's they are high risk person. So they are come to the second phase now. Yes, it's but it should be organized, because the vaccine supply is the vaccine that come to Indonesia not at once. Yeah, it's also step by step. So
Yeah.
that's why we have the make a step by step vaccination program also in Indonesia. But yes, right now the private sector also in frontline, including in a vaccination phase.
Is that the same in Thailand?
Yes, it's the same in Thailand.
Mhm.
So everybody at risk, they got vaccinated.
Right. I want to ask about the efficacy of the vaccine with different strains. I'm not sure if there's enough data in your country about that. Can you comment on that?
For Thailand, I don't think I have information about that at the moment.
Yeah. How about in Indonesia? Is there?
As I mentioned before in my slide, actually, Indonesian government already, how to say, formalized 7 type of vaccine that can be available in Indonesia, but only one that we have the clinical trial real in Indonesia. Other authorization is based on the clinical trial in their own country or other countries. So the committee, National Committee for Drug Evaluation, they make analysis from the clinical trial from other country for those type of vaccine, and from that data they make an authorization. But the result now for the vaccination that running now in Indonesia, I don't have the data yet.
Mm-hmm. Both of you talk about the education, the things that we need to educate the public about. What do you think that pharmacists, how do you think, or what do you think their role should be in the education? Because I think I can speak for myself that sometimes I take certain things for granted because we've been in this field for so long that terms like efficacy is nothing new. But to some people, when you say 95% efficacy, they might think that does that mean it only works in 95% of the population? So I think the education should be on a grassroots level, but what would that be? Because I think you can only know if you are in the thick of things. If you see the patients, then you kind of know what needs to be addressed, all that. So what do you think we as a pharmacist, the most important thing that we should educate them, and also the questions that you usually get about COVID vaccination? I'll start with Dr. Supatat.
Okay, it's a big challenging question. I think in order to educate our patient or our population, for me myself, I think we need to personalize the information for each of individual. I mean, because every single person, I think they have their own like perspective or belief or existing information in their mind. So we need to find out what's a true concern for each individual, and then we provide information that correct their misconception or provide another angle of information. Like I just talked to my coworker yesterday. They kept asking me about should I get the vaccine like Sinovac or AstraZeneca. I said to them that for me I would be happy to get any kind of vaccine right now because I have no allergic reaction to vaccine. And then I said that I I I look at the prevention of severe symptom, severe disease, and also prevention of death. I said that any vaccine can help us to prevent those kind of serious thing, and then prevent me from dying from COVID-19. I said that that's enough. I mean, being like mildly sick is fine for me. Like I have like got cold or influenza. That's okay. I don't want to die because of COVID. I have a lot of students to teach. I think that's what they're concerned. They told me that, oh, I never thought in that angle. They look at like the number like you mentioned that, oh, 50%, 65%, but they have never seen like 100% like prevention of the severe disease whatsoever. So that's my my thought about education. So we need to personalize, and but if we want to like do like a mass education, I think we probably need to prioritize. It depends on like the signal of the misconception or the need for information that we need to provide. So I think a lot of research or survey about conception or perception among our people, I think it's been done a lot in Thailand based on our statistic organization. We are doing that, and I think the Ministry of Public Health is trying to get that information, and then we create the education tool or the media to help ease that problem.
Dr. Catur?
Okay, I think our contribution as pharmacists, if we cannot reach these grassroots people, I think we can how to say, talk indirectly. Yeah, we can talk first with, for example, public figure or religion people, that maybe this kind of person more heard by this grassroots people. Yeah, so so we can educate them indirectly, indirectly, make a give a very simple explanation to these people, the person who can reach them closely or directly. So that's actually that's happened also in one of a radio in Indonesia. Yeah, they ask some educated person, and then like us, academia, but they also invite religion people, yeah, person in that forum. So that's so I think with this kind of approach, it can also make information vast spreadly, yeah, and then easily achieved by this kind of people, I think. Yeah, so maybe our language is too hard from that for them, yeah. So they cannot understand easily. So we can talk indirectly with these person. Yeah, I think that's also a strategy that we can also make.
In regards to the manufacturing and distribution of vaccines in your country, is there any major challenges in regards to the manufacturing and distribution currently in your country?
For the distribution, because right now the vaccine that distributed in Indonesia from Sinovac or Biopharma and also from AstraZeneca, they are all in 4 until 8 degrees, so it's no problem. It's cold chain distribution system. It's a very common in Indonesia. It's not challenging because I think in pharmacy distribution system, a cold chain distribution system, we have the file monitoring label. Yeah. So from this vaccine, we have the label, so we can assure the vaccine is distributed in a very right temperature. Yeah. But that will be a challenging with because one of the type in Indonesia is Pfizer. So for Pfizer vaccine is a very ultra low temperature, yeah, 70 minus 70. But I think it can be a selected area that can have such kind facility to got that kind of vaccine. That's why in Indonesia we not depend on one kind of vaccine, yeah, one type of vaccine. So, but mostly the vaccine that I presented here that already determined by Indonesia government is I think in a normal cold distribution range of temperature 4 until 8 degrees. So I think it's not problem. Thank you.
How about in Thailand?
I think in Thailand, I think similar to Indonesia because the vaccine we use is Sinovac and AstraZeneca. So we just keep in the refrigerator, and I think our pharmacists are familiar with the cold chain system and to maintain it. I don't think it's a big issue on logistic. But in terms of the registration, I think in Thailand, that's not a big deal as well, because I think in Thailand, we have a system called village health volunteer, which we have like 1 or 2 people from each village. They work with hospital so that they can be like our spy, and then they can be the people that can talk to the other people in the village to get the list of to screen like who the target group, and then they get the list of the people that we need during the first phase, and then submit to the hospital, and then the hospital submit to the DDC. I think that's a good system. So in terms of getting people involved, I think that's not a big issue as well. Right now, in terms of distribution, I didn't see any big issue report over the last month that we start getting vaccination to our people.
That's good. So I think in your country, the minimum age to get a vaccine is 18. Am I correct?
In Thailand, based on the guideline from the Ministry of Public Health, I think we aim for at least 70%.
Oh no, the age, the minimum age to get a vaccine, is it 18 years old?
Oh, sorry, 18. Sorry, 18 years old.
Do you just this morning on CNN they reported that the Pfizer the clinical trials of Pfizer, when they tested between 12 to 15, it was 100%, but I'm not sure what's the amount, the number of participants. But do you think that maybe this year it will be open to younger patients, or is it too quick?
I think it depends on the quality of the information and whether the information is submitted to the FDA or not, because I think we need a green light from our FDA to start the vaccination in people under 18 years old. So I think it depends on the time, I think, because I think most of the clinical trial, I think they are trying to get all of the people involved, like even immunocompromised and pregnant or breastfeeding.
How about in Indonesia? Is it also 18 is the minimum age?
Yeah, 18. It's right now it's only for above 18, yeah. So because I think it's also depend on the vaccine supply, you know, because right now it's not enough for all, even for the above 18, yeah. And another thing also, because from how to say, from the data for the children, I think they are not a very high risk person or target, yeah. So I think that's why Indonesia government try to vaccinate the teacher right now, and then they try to open the school, yeah. Even the school age student not have vaccinated, but they think because this is not the high risk one, and then we can also make open the school not full capacity, but we arrange them maybe 50 capacity, and then they have not a whole day, yeah. Maybe one only 2 or 3 days a week for this school age student. So I think for them right now it's not priority. Thank you.
We have about 5 minutes left. So I'd like to end this, or try to end this on a positive note. So what do you think is one positive aspect of the COVID-19? I'll start off. To me, I think it's difficult to find something positive amidst the pandemic, but setbacks are usually disguised opportunity. What I see, one of the positive outcomes to me is the that are being put forward on in terms of new therapeutics for COVID. The number a few months ago that I checked was quite astounding. So that's one of the outcome of the COVID-19. So what do you think is the one positive outcome of this pandemic? Dr. Catur, I'll start with you.
Okay, thank you. For me, even pandemic is maybe disaster for everyone, and also you can lose your beloved one. But I see a very positive thing here, because the environment of research in Indonesia in molecular thing, yeah, and molecular biology or such vaccination or sequencing or diagnostic is very open, yeah. So it speed up our research here, and people make open collaboration very easily. So I see that kind of bright how to say good future, yeah. So this is very exciting for me. Yeah, yes, we have a limited capacity now, but I think with this case, the pandemic case, it make us more confident, yeah, to do research, something like that. Thank you.
Thank you. How about you, Dr. Supatat?
Yeah, I agree with I think every crisis, I think there's another side of good thing as well. Based on the situation in Thailand, I could see that COVID-19 allows us to see our potential,
right,
to be better, to be flexible, and then we have potential to create new things that has never happened before in our country, in all areas, and including research, manufacturing. I think every part of the country, I think we improve ourselves to fight against the crisis. So I think that's a good side that I saw in my country, and I think all over the world.
Yeah, I think so too. So all right, so that's the end of the forum. Thank you so much again. On behalf of the Faculty of Pharmacy, I would like to thank both of you, Dr. Supatat and Dr. Catur, for presenting such an informative talk, and also the conversation that we just had. I think a lot of people would benefit from this, and I hope this is not the last time that we'll be doing this. And yeah, in the future, hopefully more fruitful things will come out of this. So thank you so much again, and I'll pass over to Dr. Nori.